So there's this wall on a fairly nondescript building in the small town of Blackbutt, which is northwest of Brisbane in the picturesque South Burnett region. You might glance at this wall and think nothing of it, but if you stopped and looked closely, you'd see that this wall is actually covered in names. Hundreds and hundreds of names. The George family, the McIntyre family, the Frank family. Each letter in each name etched into a small coloured tile, and each tile arranged in mosaic form along this little wall. But why are these names there? Who are these people? Is your family name listed? Well, if you were around in 1988 and your family had a connection to Brisbane's Expo, there is a chance that your name could actually be here. Peter Racy can tell you why. Peter, g'day.
Jump the gun slightly there. The wall isn't yet installed where we're up to, and it was called the Expo 88 Friendship Wall. It was some 40-odd metres long, and it was at the Vulture Street end of the Expo 88 site, and it ran basically in the underground passageway going from one side of the rail station at Vulture Street into Expo 88 proper. But you are right, it is an amazing piece of history. Some 50,000 families, that's right, 50,000 families donated to empower what's now called Guides Queensland. I'll get my knuckles wrapped if I call it Girl Guides. And it came about, the empowering drive to rescue it after Founders Day in February of this year, where the Governor and the Chief Commissioner of Scouts unveiled Be Prepared, or the Saluting Scout, up at Kangaroo Point at Scouts Place. And I really felt at that time that if it's good enough for Scouts, this other amazing bit of Expo history called the Friendship Mural needs to be saved. And last Thursday, I was up in Blackbutt. I did a song and I did a presentation, and I was curious as to why the Deputy Mayor looked at me and said, would $20,000 be enough to achieve your Expo vision? And then it went up to 50. And then I did a presentation of the full gambit of the Friendship Wall and the Expo statues that they've got. And at the end of the meeting, he said, I think I'll be able to get 100,000 for you. I'm going off to see the Mayor and the CEO, and I'll give you a call. And I'd driven from Kingaroy to Blackbutt, taken photos of the proposed location, which you've just spoken about. Probably in 6 months' time, I suspect you'll be able to rock up and look at names. And he said, I'm 99% there, Peter. It's going to be subject to a full council meeting. It's going to be subject to you giving me a business plan. I've written the business plan. It's well underway. And when I visited there yesterday and had a look and realised that these tiles, swimming pool tiles they are, have these thousands of names, and then they have the pavilion names, and they have the workers in the pavilions, and then they have the Expo head office, and then they have the ambassadors. It is a snapshot of history of Expo 88, including the full Queensland State Parliament and the full Cabinet at the time. I'm just gobsmacked as to how lucky Queensland is that it's all, sort of shaken out some 32 years after the event. It's an amazing find.
So you're on ABC Radio Brisbane. You're listening to Peter Racy, who is on a mission to make sure the legacy of Expo 88 lives on. We're talking about the Friendship Mural. Now, you might remember this mural. You've heard from Peter. It was at the entrance of Expo. It was a beautiful, big mosaic with tiles, swimming pool tiles, engraved with names. Maybe your name, maybe your family's name was on one of these tiles. Pete, how did you find this mosaic? Where has it been? I mean, how did you uncover it?
Well, Kat, as you know, you actually were right at the forefront of saving some of this Expo 88 memorabilia when on your radio station we triggered the saving of the drover and his mate, which is now in King Street in the RNA showgrounds. There is just, I don't know, just sitting within the historical narrative of Queensland, just slight slivers of historical narrative, and you just pull the thread, and it just leads on, and it leads on, and it leads on, and eventually you come up with these fantastic gems. And this is like 4 to 5 years in the making. That's how long ago the thread I come across. And yeah, it's just, someone called me a persistent bastard the other day. And I must admit, it's true if you want to save the legacy of Expo 88.
Okay, so you're in the midst of putting together this plan to restore the Friendship Mural, the Guides mural from Expo 88, complete with these tens of thousands of names, comprising names that represent families who donated. You know, they gave money at some point to have their name put on a tile and have that name displayed at Expo 88. And now, Peter, ultimately, those families will be able to visit Blackbutt and see their name on a new wall. Is that the dream you hold? Okay.
That is the plan, but as you know, dealing with politicians, sometimes it goes off on unexpected tangents. Where we are at the moment is that I have visited the site where it's stored down at Redland Bay. They've agreed to unattach it off the wall. It's in a section of their working area that's chock-a-block full of second-hand beds, motor mowers, whippersnippers, all sorts of interesting tools. They've got to move it all out, unpack the wall. I will then pick it up. The Caboolture Historical Village, the location of the Ken Kato signs, have very generously donating to me the space to lay it out so we can do a full and proper assessment just to work out whether we've got 2,000, 4,000, but I'm hopefully about 10,000 names on what has been saved. Unfortunately, a lot of it was lost in the floods, so there's certainly not 50, but I'm hoping that there is close to 10,000. But I mean, that 10,000 is still a large number of families in Queensland and around the world, I might add. I must admit there are ones from Vanuatu and Paris and all over the place. And then after the assessment, it goes into the council bureaucracy and sort of grinds through, and hopefully at the end of the day, yes, I don't see a problem why it can't go up at Blackbutt.
And presuming that comes to pass, Peter, is there any way in which where their records kept, any way in which you'll be able to contact those families, those people whose names feature on these tiles and let them know?
I'll tell you what, Kat, after we finish talking, there's a swimming pool next to me. I'm going to be able to walk across the water to be able to answer that question.
Could you then turn it into a swimming pool of wine while you're at it, Peter, please?
I'll try my best just for you. So, I don't know. There is an archive section that Guides have. They are mostly a volunteer organisation. I think I have well and truly pushed my luck in getting what I've got. But yes, I actually have asked to try and ferret out of their archives more information. But they are the same as Scouts. Their headquarters, Scouts still goes underwater regularly. Even though they've got a 2-storey building and they put most of it upstairs, their archives, but they've lost a lot of records. Guides, they've just lost mountains of information. I'm not sure exactly what's left, but at the end of the day, wherever this friendship mural is, people will be able to rock up and do a search, and there will no doubt, I'm absolutely certain, given the keen nature of Jason Ford up in Kingaroy and the other, I mean, there's nearly 5,000 members of the Expo 88 Facebook group now, between all the different variations of it. And there'll be lots and lots of photos, and I am certain that within 12 months, almost the whole of the wall or walls will be documented and people will be able to search online if nothing else. But I'm pretty sure, whether it be at Blackbutt or Caboolture or wherever it ends up, that they'll want people to turn up and enjoy looking at the real Rigididge bit of kit.
Excellent. Peter Racy, thank you so much.
Thank you again, Kat.
You're on ABC Radio.